I remember a while back, probably 5 or so years ago, I told a friend of mine that I thought Steph Curry has a real case for the GOAT conversation. And they laughed. Now, many years later, one ring more, a Finals MVP, and the 3-points record. And Curry being in the GOAT conversation is still met with the same reaction that my friend had all those years ago. It honestly baffles me how much he's been neglected completely from the conversation and merely relegated to the best point guard competition instead. Thus, I believe to truly fathom the level of impact Curry had on the game of basketball as a whole, we need to dial it back to the 2009 NBA draft, where Curry's legacy began. The NBA that Curry had entered wasn't the same as it is now. At that time, conventional thinking prevailed. Positions in basketball had roles, and they were fixed for the most part. Big men were interior monsters, both defensively and offensively, while most of the perimeter work was done through small forwards and shooting guards. While the point guards was thought to be the anchor of it all, a sort of a second coach on the court. The likes of CP3 and Rondo were the standard. Curry, on the other hand, was more of a scorer than merely a facilitator. It's not to say he couldn't play make. It's just that he didn't fit the mold of the point guard at the time. Besides, his shot selection was the stuff of nightmares for coaches. Couple that with his nagging ankle issues that plagued him in his early career. It seemed as if everything was put against him to either conform to the norm or leave. It all came to a head when his own team tried to trade him. Curry at that point had reached rock bottom, and to add insult to injury, he couldn't even look for inspiration in the history of basketball, as many of his own kind and archetype has failed many years before him. Yet through what it became his own hallmark, Curry defied all odds. As in 2013, he showed glimpses of his magic. By 2014, these glimpses became a stable, and when 2015 hit, Curry truly arrived, winning the MVP and the championship in that season. He did it, right? Wrong. People said James Harden deserved the MVP more. They said the Cavs were severely injured. And worst of all, that by him not winning the Finals MVP, he wasn't really the best player in his own team. Thus, Curry had a new wave of criticisms to defy once again, which then he proceeded to shatter them all by providing arguably the single greatest offensive season ever, and having the best team record ever, and winning the still only unanimous MVP. Only then to fall short in the finals against the Cavs, and which on the plus side gave us this classic meme. In the 2016 offseason, Curry was joined by KD in the most controversial move in the history of the NBA. The Warriors then went on to win championships until they literally couldn't. And in 2019, Durant left, which for a time made a lot of the criticisms and doubts about Curry creep up once again. Many thought he wasn't the true best player in those championship-winning teams. That is why it was Durant who won all those Finals MVPs. No one thought that he alone could guide the Warriors into another championship. Hence, once again, he had to defy all odds, which, only in Curry's fashion, he'd done so in a spectacular manner, breaking the long-standing thought to be unbreakable 3-point record. In the Garden, nonetheless, winning yet another ring, and this time winning the trophy that haunted him all those years, the Finals MVP. And that's not all. Curry's case for GOAT status isn't limited to his achievements and accolades alone, but also his overall impact on the game of basketball. As before Curry, teams were shooting less than 15 threes a game, and after Curry, that's an average for a singular player. Entire systems were cultivated to mirror and replicate his magic, and a whole new generation became infatuated with playing like Curry. In a way, not only he defied the conventions of basketball that he entered to, but forced them to conform to his style and way of play. I'm not saying that he should be the GOAT. I am merely perplexed as to why he isn't ever mentioned in the conversation. A man who defied every obstacle and narrative that was put against him and prevailed through it all, inspiring a revolution in the game of basketball. That man deserves the mention among the greats. And if you're still somehow hesitant and reluctant, perhaps even having some doubts, well, why don't we let the man speak for himself?